Hello once again, welcome back inside the Tier 4 studio, back in Morgantown, West Virginia for the Charleston Daily Mail. I am Mike Casazza and understandably crestfallen today with the word that Morgantown's new minor league baseball team will be the Black Bears, which is okay, but it's bad because it's not the Moonshiners. That said, welcome the Black Bears to town. The second best name, though by a long shot, on a list of 10 fairly good names, but only one right name. Let the record show. 2,500 votes plus for the Black Bears. Where were you? I asked politely, insistently, to help me out and have it named the Moonshiners, just so we could have so much fun with words like mash and runner and still and things like that. But no, couldn't get 2,500 people to do the right thing. That said, we're here for football. The Wednesday walkthrough, they look ahead at West Virginia University's upcoming football game. This time, going back, Stillwater, Oklahoma, not just the Mountaineers, but also Dana Holgorsen, as the 22nd ranked West Virginia team takes on a stumbling Oklahoma State. The teams actually have identical records going in, but couldn't seem to be heading in more opposite directions than they are right now. Oklahoma State, back-to-back poor offensive showings. Just 2 offensive touchdowns. Fewer than 275 yards of total offense in both of their last 2 games. One a 42-9 loss to TCU. The other a 27-20 win against Kansas, which, yes, can be salty, but Oklahoma State needed a kickoff return touchdown to ice that one away. So, yeah, a tricky spot for West Virginia. Going to a place against an offense that's struggling, armed with a defense that is not, and an offense that should be able to win shootouts, especially when it gets appreciable help from this defense as it has. However, West Virginia is still an underdog by between 4.5 and 5.5 points here. The Mountaineers are very aware of that and using that to their advantage. They understand they have accomplished a little, not a lot. They have a lot left to go, and the margin for error remains small, especially when you go on the road to a place the Mountaineers did not have a good time last time, but this is somewhat of the revenge tour. 5 straight games against teams that beat West Virginia last season. Didn't do well against Oklahoma, but got the best of Texas Tech, Kansas, Baylor, all in succession here. The 5th of the 5, of course, would be Oklahoma State. You get 4 out of those 5. It's a great sign for growth and maturation for this team, and those are the variables that Holgorsen is depending upon this week, because he saw older gentlemen get by against Maryland, which beat West Virginia last season, and Texas Tech, where West Virginia was obliterated 2 years ago. You have guys who've been there before who have a bad taste in their mouth, and they enjoy more pleasurable experiences, and some of those things help them navigate the downs. Navigating the highs is new for this team, but when you've been through the downs and you know how it felt and you know how much effort, how much time it took to get up where the team is right now, that can be powerful, and that is what the coaches and even the players hope for right now. Veterans, not only in the field, on the sideline as well, keeping this thing tight together. Sure, it's good to be ranked. It helps out a whole lot, but as Clint Trickett said, they're only ranked number 22, and they already lost twice this season. It's not a finished product. It's not a perfect product. Keep on pushing the ball up the hill. If it keeps going in that direction, sooner or later you go downhill and things should become easier. But West Virginia, not a team that makes it easy on itself all the time, right? And it's going to be difficult against Oklahoma State. Young defense, though. Green in a lot of parts, up front, at linebacker, and especially in the secondary. They will get a cornerback back this week, but how much he plays, how well he plays after missing 3 games, who knows? But 2 first-year starters on the defensive line, at linebacker, in the secondary. What does West Virginia like to do? Well, right now, attack all 3 parts with a fairly unique balance here. The most balanced team in the country, which is a odd thing to say about this team we've seen not only this season, but the past 3 seasons, and also the reputation that Holgorsen has had for calling plays on offense. But they're going to pound the ball up front. They're going to draw you close. They're going to throw it over top. You know the formula by now. So does Oklahoma State. The tricky thing when you have West Virginia against Oklahoma State or Texas Tech is they know one another so well that it's going to be difficult to trick the other. You have to be better from point 1 to point 2. You have to be able to execute your play and get to the next one. They did okay with that against Texas Tech. They have to be better this time against Oklahoma State just because it's the next challenge. It's not unique, but what's required is pretty specific and pretty simple. Does West Virginia have better players? Going to execute better? You'll have answers to that at the end of the game. Offensively for Oklahoma State, again, it's a lot like West Virginia. In fact, Dana Holgorsen did a lot to give Oklahoma State this reputation, and he's come back to Morgantown and developed that personality on offense. You're going to see an offense at Oklahoma State that does what West Virginia does, puts its hand on the ground, pushes forward, runs the ball, ideally inside, and pulls you forward so it can pass deep. You have two quarterbacks in Clint Trickett and Dax Garman at Oklahoma State who love to throw the deep ball. No one has completed more 25-yard passes in the Big 12 than Clint Trickett. Only Trickett and Bryce Petty have completed more of those passes than Garman. Garman throws a great deep ball. His receivers love it. He's got big guys that can go outside and get it. Clint Trickett obviously has the GAM, Kevin White. Be very interesting to see that matchup in an offensive world we live in right now with short passes, quick throws, get guys in space and let them make plays to turn a small thing into a big gain. These guys are a little bit different. They like to go over the top, big throws, big gains. But the one person to keep your eye on offense and, of course, on special teams for Oklahoma State, Tyreek Hill, maybe the fastest player in college football. And if you're the fastest player on the field Saturday with Mario Alford out there, pretty quick guy. Olympic speed. Watch West Virginia's defense. If you see 24 on the field, you're going to see 11 guys in white pointing at him, trying to figure out where he is. Is he in the slot? Is he in the backfield? Is he out wide? Is he coming in motion? That's the attention you have to give a guy like Hill. You got to make sure you contain him on the run to bounce him inside. You can't let him get outside and break contain. If he's going to run routes, you got to have a backstop over the top. If he's going to break the coverage underneath, which he can because he's fast, he's going to outrun your intermediary defense and get deep into your secondary. You got to have a safety back there to bounce him on the ground and keep a lid on the big plays that he likes to produce. And of course, he's a handful on special teams. He had the kickoff return against Kansas. He's dangerous. He's fast. Guy you got to watch because, as you know, West Virginia prone to big plays, not just on special teams, which is better all of a sudden, but also on defense. 5 touchdowns this season against the Mountaineers of 60 yards or more. 3:30, ESPN Saturday, Boone Pickens Stadium for the Charleston Daily Mail. I'm Mike Casazza. I'll see you next time.